All right, and we're
If
just gonna go right back into it. So I guess I'll just start with the intro though for this though. What's going on, guys? Dev here, Coach B. You know who it be. We're back from the technical difficulties, and it's a good thing you guys missed out on a terrific conversation about OnlyFans and Pornhub, and it was great.
just blame it on the Rona, y'all.
Blame it on the Rona. You know, some in a way, I'm gonna hold that for a while. I'm gonna like be able. I'm gonna hold that as an excuse for everything in my life for a minute. I'm
You
allowed to. I feel like we've all earned that right. We've all earned that right to say it's the Rona for at least 3 months from now, and then after that, it's subjective. I think then you could just use it as you want, but I don't know how many people are gonna buy it.
yeah, you got to know your audience. Bro, I'm gonna stretch 2 years out of it. You go for the 3 months, but if you hear me and you're with me and you see me throwing out some Corona shit at like a year and a half, you just just ride with it.
Yeah, right.
Just ride.
Like I walk down, like you're at a meeting or something, and then someone says, "Oh yeah, he's got the Rona," or you're like, "Oh man, I can't because I got the Ronavirus right now," and then you're like, "Oh, never mind."
I'll just be like, man,
I'll be like, never mind.
I got the effects from it, man. I got the effects. It you shut down everything. Small businesses. I wasn't making what the fuck you want from me. That type shit. That's where I'd go with it. I'm gonna get 2 years out of that. So what else been going on in the world? Anything interesting?
Yeah, well, apparently, well, first off, let's do a little recap. Kim Jong Un is not dead. Kiki says she misses us. We miss you too, Kiki. Um, yeah, Kiki, my hair, as you can see, it's growing out of control right now. It's
Yeah.
wild.
You
But
gotta get ready for that perm, and you might as well learn how to lay one of those toupees for me too, and you can get all the business.
gotta learn how to lay one of them toupees. Oh my
I
god.
might keep my beard though, bro, with it. I know I got little grays growing in it, a little more here and there, but I think it's kind of this is the longest it's ever been in my life.
Maybe she needs to add that touch of gray to it.
So, yeah, touch it up a little bit. I ain't scared to do none of that shit. You know, girls can get fake butts and boobies. Why can't I dye my
Hey, why
my
can't I
beard?
dye my hair a little gray? Why not? Uh, but no,
Yeah.
with all seriousness though, I wanted to catch up on the Kim Jong Un thing because apparently he's not dead.
Uh-huh.
So that was just the update I wanted to give. So unfortunately, I will not be asking his sister to marry me. I was really keen on it. I was really trying to marry Kim Jong Un's sister, but just wouldn't
There's
go
still
through.
a power move in there, bro. I think she's at the table and she's probably one of them older or younger. Is she older? She's younger, right?
Kim Jong Un's yeah, she's younger.
So she might be one of those bossy, like my twins. Like the daughter runs the dude. You know what I mean? She might be one of those characters. So there might be a power play in there somewhere, bro. Don't give up on that dream.
Yeah, don't. I'm not, man. That's who it is someday. My future wife. I'm telling you.
Right. Right.
Everybody, remember that's who I'm marrying. I don't
I
know
think
though.
yeah, seeing all that, I didn't until they were like it was like we think and all this all like there was no credible source that was like that dude was dead. Um, so it was just more or less like I think they were running some kind of drill or maybe something happened in their country, like maybe assassin. That's what I think. Assassination attempt, and he had to dip out and just give them some propaganda out there. So and then until they figured out what happened, something like that. That always could be something that happened. Or
Hmm.
a dude just wanted to get away for a while, you
Yeah.
know?
Right. Right. Well, we were switching gears too because the coronavirus. We were talking about the coronavirus, and like we're gonna blame everything on the corona. But now, just when we think it's starting to get safe to go outside, they're telling us we got killer bees we got to deal with now.
Yeah, that's crazy. Killer Hornets. Yeah, that's crazy. I seen that. Did you see one of them? And they're
Yeah, bro,
saying
they're huge. They're like 2 inch. So they're like this big, like bees, this fucking big. It doesn't seem big, but have you ever seen a? Uh, I was gonna say, you ever seen a 2 incher that big? Have
oh my
you ever see a bee
no,
that
man,
big
I
before?
haven't. Is there something you're trying to tell us? Have you seen what the fuck? You know you can't
Oh man, that
and
just I don't know. I've seen too many memes of the 2 inch Punisher and shit. We're like so.
no.
Oh
But
my goodness. Oh man, bring it back. Holy heck, there's kids watching this program, man. We gotta bring it back.
it's the
But
coolest COVID-19, bro. We can blame it on that
Yeah,
every
it
time.
was the corona. It's the corona. It's made me perverted.
Right.
But yeah, no. But the real threat from the killer hornets isn't actually the bees themselves, but really what they could do to the actual bee population that we have here in America, which pollinates all of our trees and plants and whatnot. You know, like they're the primary spreaders of pollination. So that's what they're really worried about, is it killing all the bees.
What would that affect if they killed our bees right away that we would notice? Do you have that information? I was trying to look for
What would you ask? Would you ask?
um if those bees came over here and they did kill off all our honeybees, and like you said, it affects pollination, how would we notice that would affect us right away? Like,
Well, that is a good question. I wouldn't have all the answers. I don't know how much of like our crops and everything and all that stuff is based on pollination, and how much I think we would see an immediate impact in wild, like out in nature, like in the wild, like we would see the spread of less plants, like plants. Um, I would say like less flowering plants, like vegetation, like not so much trees, but like flowers, tulips, dandelions, things like that. Um, Gary, or sorry, Gary came in the chat and says Japanese hornets are big as June bugs. They're about as big as June bugs, he says.
these June bugs.
Bugs.
Yeah, I seen a video today that resurfaced from back. They were warning us about it. They weren't warning America about it, but they were warning the country, and it attacked a mouse,
The
and the mouse
hornets?
had a chance.
The
Yeah, it came
hornets.
out. TMZ put it.
Man,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sketched, bro. I'm sketched. Because listen, I already got to tell you something. I got to tell you this real quick because a lot of people don't know. But my biggest fear, spiders don't scare me, but I'm scared of bees. Scared of bees. When I was a kid, bro, I got attacked by a swarm of bees because of my sister playing hide and seek. And I fell off the tractor and got attacked by a swarm of bees. And I ran into my gram, and I told her they stung my pee pee. Stung my pee pee, Graham. They stung me everywhere, bro. I'm not joking when I tell you this. I'm not joking. No lie. All facts. They stung me everywhere, bro. I sat in a tub and soaked for like a whole day. And like
Did
it
you
was
have
bad.
shit on you that the moms used to put on you, that like pink shit that they rub on like bee stings and all
Yeah,
that and
right.
shit?
Bro, I think she just dumped the whole bottle in the tub and then just left
I
me
was
in
like,
there.
get
Get in.
it.
Like there's just
Yeah,
you got stung up. Well, I mean June bugs are like kind of annoying. But June bugs, I don't are they really that big? Cuz June bugs are pretty small. Like when I think of June bugs, they're only like about this big. Like the
they're saying
hornets are.
these are like two, right?
Yeah, 2 inches probably like that or something. So I mean, they're pretty decent sized bees. Like regardless, like I think about it like this: a wasp is like probably like that big, and like the hornets are like that, like double, almost triple the size of one like a wasp. So that's pretty sketch. Like I'm not trying to run into any bees. Is what I'm trying to say.
Me neither. Anytime I see bees, I'm afraid of bees too. I've been stung before. I got a little allergic to reaction to it. Nothing where I have to go
Get the
get.
EpiPen, like that's good
There.
information to know, Coach. Because listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm ready.
You ready?
Yeah,
Ready?
I'm ready. I got that EpiPen on me, man. Like you say the word, you get stung. I'm like, psha. Like
Just hit.
like
Yeah,
right in the
yeah.
head, man. Just psha.
I get a lot of irritation from that shit. But the interesting part about this story too is that first the coronavirus, then the bee wasp, they were both said to be pop up and be known to that it's in America, in Washington State. Yeah.
Hmm. Here comes the conspiracy, and we could talk about that too. But I'm saying, what if they made the coronavirus in a lab to give to the bees, which the bees are now going to spread the coronavirus.
They had a game plan.
They had
They
a
had a
plan.
game plan. They had
We're
a
gonna,
game.
and it's a theory. We're all gonna think that the coronavirus was spread naturally, but no, it's been spread by killer bees. And
It, it's been a game plan.
yeah, anybody out there in the
Just
comments?
what's going on in Washington State? That why are they the first ones? Do they have the best like technology and labs where they're getting information all the time? Is that could be that?
I don't
Um,
know. It might be.
it could be. It was just weird to me that they both said that both of these things that are happening simultaneously that are freaking us the fuck out are in Washington State.
Right.
Like See one, bro. I'm scared of bees, but I'm gonna try to catch that motherfucker.
Yeah, just gotta look at. Hey, maybe if you get one of those, it'll kill the flies, bro.
Yeah. Oh shit.
It'll kill the flies. But Christina Procopio says Black Mirror. I never watched Black Mirror, so you're talking to nobody. I have no idea. I've never seen Black Mirror, and I'm sorry.
A Netflix special or some shit.
She said
I've heard of
probably the news has better resources in Washington. Yeah, but that doesn't make sense because how are they finding out? Like they just got good newscasters. Like they're just
it.
figuring it out over there. I mean, I don't know, maybe, but I think it might have something to do with technology, or maybe, Coach. Let's just be honest. The reptile lizard Illuminati people made the Hornets, gave them the coronavirus, and that's what's happening.
All right, fuck it. Let's put it on a T-shirt and go out there. I bet you we can sell 1 million.
Yeah,
We can sell
easy.
1 million. People are in on it, and that's the thing that I say. Like there can't be one straight answer because you're always gonna. We talked about this a little earlier. There's always gonna be a side. You can't fully just believe one side of anything. I was always told there's 3 sides to the story. Theirs, his, and the truth. You know what I'm saying? Yours, hers, or the truth. You know what I mean? You're always going to get what a person wants you to hear. So you got to find an educational guess. And that brings up a great fucking question. Like, what she just mentioned about the news. Like, I don't listen to news, man, because news is just ridiculous nowadays. It's just a bunch of bullshit. But how do you make that decision to get your research information to make an educational guess?
Right.
You know what I
Well,
mean?
for starters, it always starts with this. You don't read the headline and take it to be the gospel. Because right before we got on the show, I read a headline from an article that said that no, the coronavirus is not man-made. It's natural, right? Like that was near what the headline was called. Then I look into the headline, and then I read the article while I'm in the Skype call with you. And what did I find out? That the article was wrong in what it was saying because all it said was that it didn't say conclusively. It just said that it's probably not man-made. Doesn't mean it
Right.
isn't. Just means that it's probably not. And you can't label an article that says no, it's not, and say definitively that it's not whenever the article itself cites information only stating that it's probable. And the scientist himself who did the study even said that he had his doubts that it wasn't man-made,
Right.
or that he thought it was man-made. He's leaning
So
towards that it's not based on the information that he's gotten, but he still has his doubts. So I mean, and that's what you want from your scientist anyway. Who's gonna doubt his own thing. He's just looking at the information that he has right now, and he's saying, "This is what I
and
think." Him and other researchers.
he's challenging his circle of younger people he's teaching and any other scientists to challenge this. Let's get it right. That's what I think a true scientist to me that's really heart is into. I want to just search everything. It's not like I need headlines, I need this and that. I need to say, let's figure this out. Like medical doctors, such and such. And that's just a tough thing that I guess we're gonna go through. In saying that,
And regardless
another
to
thing,
me, I'm just gonna say this. Regardless to me, it doesn't matter if it's man-made or not because it's here. It is what it is. And I think people have the capabilities, and if not, they will very soon to make man-made viruses. So, um, you know,
I think they do now.
right.
It's just how they host. Like, how do you host it, and how do you? I think they can figure out, like, with all the shit that we've known and seeing everything through science classes, and I haven't had the highest education in college and all that, but I think like it has to be where you could have told me all that in 8th grade science and 10th grade science or whatever. They have to be way ahead of that game right now, where they're identifying things, knowing how to host them, knowing how to spread them very easily. I just think that a person doesn't want that problem right now. I think they do it at a small level, but they don't want the big level and a person finds out, because it's going to be over for everybody. It's going to start a huge war. They're doing it strategically, not. I think that's happening. I really do. There's no conspiracy in that. It can't be. There's just fucking crazy people out there. It's just that simple. You got people, hold on for a second. Think about it like this. You got people that can pass themselves as normal people every day and end up being serial killers that get away with it for a while. So how do you can't say that a scientist does that or a doctor does that? You know what I mean? Come on, man. It's just common sense. Those are the common sense that I always say. Use your common sense. Do as much research as you can on a subject before you speak and share or believe.
Right. Yeah. I mean, me, I'm just very how would I put it? What's the word? Uh, I guess I'm an epistivist. Like I don't believe anything. I don't like to believe anything unless there's like sufficient evidence to believe it full heartedly. And if I don't have all the evidence, I won't say. Even if there's a conspiracy, right? Like me and you joke around about conspiracies all the time, but I won't like full heartedly commit to a conspiracy until I say, yeah, I see the evidence for it there. You know, I mean, I get what you're saying. Like I agree that the possibility the potential and all that stuff's out there. It's just I don't full-heartedly agree that that is what's going on right now and that they're actually doing it or how they're implementing it. I agree it's out there. I have no evidence to find that it is happening. And I'm not going to ever find it perhaps because I'm not really going to be the one looking for it. I'm sure someone else is going to be the one that comes across it, some whistleblower or somebody who's in that industry, and it'll probably be further down the line when we come across it. But that's just my perspective. Now we have some comments here. We got let me see. We got Christina who said they make more money. People watch in America at least, so they make it scary or dramatic, so you watch more and then you get scared. And to be honest, I don't trust the news because of that. Renee Gustafon says, "Isn't anthrax man-made?" And then Christina Prokopi says, "Anthrax is a bacteria they weaponized naturally, but weaponized and made it in labs." Interesting. I didn't know that about anthrax. I know people put anthrax in the mail. That was like a way people tried to kill people was they'd send anthrax in the mail. But I don't know if it was ever weaponized. I'll have to look into that. That's interesting.
What, anthrax?
Yeah, anthrax. Yeah, I never knew about anthrax like being like lab made.
Oh yeah, they weaponized that, bro.
Yeah.
You could make that, from my understanding. I'd have to do a
Oh, I know they
refreshment on.
weaponized it. I just didn't know it was man made.
Oh yeah, yeah. There was you can man make anthrax, or what they were doing a lot was they were fear mongering on the anthrax. Just crazy people out there would set, like you said, send something in the mail, and then all resources had to go to that package. Everything had to shut down, and they had to test it to see if it was anthrax. That's what I'm saying by conspiracies. I never can prove any conspiracy. Nobody can. They can't prove anything like that. That's what happened. Nobody can do that. Unless we see it every day with the court system. They prove people guilty all the time with the techniques they use, but then they end up getting out years later because they evidence that wasn't, you know what I mean, technology that proved them wrong. So there's not the conspiracy that when I say conspiracy, I just bring it up for thought, like for hearing people's thoughts and information. Maybe, you know what I mean? Maybe there's something that they're saying that happened in that, but just to believe somebody because they're telling you, you know what I mean? Only really person I believe is because she tells me I have to is probably my mom.
Right. Right, because you have to. She's your mom.
Yeah, that's pretty much all.
No. Your mom's probably said something like that was foolish, and you say to her face you believe her, but like behind her, you're like, Mom, that's a bunch of bullshit. That's yeah, right. Like, come on, Mom. I know the Tooth Fairy ain't real. Shut up about that. We're done with the Tooth Fairy. We're over it.
Right.
No, but regardless, what I was going to add to that is, I'm always in a position where I'm willing to accept that could be the case. Because I think if you're a scientist or any not logical thinking person, but an honest person, you're going to say that you could be wrong about anything. Like I think I could be wrong about anything that I say. I'm never going to tell you that I'm always 100% right. I can show you evidence as to why I am right and I think I am correct, because that's all it really is just the things that I see in front of me or that I experience or the information that's out there. That's all I could really provide, because it's all you could provide and vice versa, because then it's people's word against the other ones. And it's all about who can show that information to be correct versus the person who cannot.
Who's got the credibility that is going to get the more numbers? That's how it really is. Who's going to get the credibility? Who has the credibility? Who has the co-signers that's going to be able to prove get the at least the most people to believe their side of the story. Because to me, we have that conversation all the time. I think all information is like it's information. It's meant to be proven wrong. Like you said, a real scientist is going to say, I want I here's my hypothesis. Here's what I came up with. Like it's out there for you guys to challenge it and maybe add on to it. Let's collaborate. Let's figure this out for real. That's how I see scientists. But in saying that, what wouldn't you think though? I guess you can't, like, because they're built up. Now, I never heard of a dog having a flu, but would animals catch this? Would animals?
Yeah, well, for starters, animals, for one, like animals can have a slew of diseases that humans can get, like dogs can get Lyme disease and so on. But again, it like how we talked about different strains of a disease. Different strains affect different breeds and species of animal in different ways. Because, for instance, the how they believe, like from the article we were just reading, how they believe we got the virus was from bat
An animal.
a strain of virus that came from bats and pangolins, which is like pangolins are like an armadillo-esque looking animal. Although I don't think they're directly related. I think they're from a different lineage. But regardless, they're similar animals that mammal ancestors, and this is where that strain came from. Was either from bats or from these animals, pangolins, and they can transfer it to you. And dogs can get coronavirus because they've had vaccines for coronavirus for dogs for almost I believe years now. Because I think I've seen a vial that was like 20 years old. And of course, there's been people that use disinfectants that kill coronavirus. So animals can get the coronavirus. This particular strand that humans are susceptible to, I'm not sure. I don't think so. They would have to get their own strand that their particular immune systems are susceptible to. Christina Procopio says cats can get the coronavirus, but dogs can't. I think I don't. She said, "Don't quote me. I heard animals can have it, but it's different." Oh, Renee Gustafson said, "I heard animals can have it."
Christine, do a little Google and pop back in and tell us, a little information you found.
But I saw a vaccine for dogs and coronavirus because I posted it, I think, on my Facebook the other day because someone said something crazy where it said, look, they've had the vaccine for dogs for 20 years or something, and like you think they didn't know about this? And it's like, and it's just some uneducated person where you have to go, buddy, we've known the coronavirus existed. It's
Just
been an
a
animal. It's just we didn't have a strain of it that was infectious, severely infectious to people.
right.
It's like that's really distinction. That's the distinction. And yeah,
Yeah. And I think it brought me to the animals part of it because I remember they said a tiger tested positive in that zoo. So that brings us on. Let's stop scaring our guests about that. I'm sure they talk about coronavirus too much.
right. We're done
That
with
brings
it.
us on to our next topic. I heard, like, have you had to seen this, Deb? Like, I know we have two different kinds of funny. It's a little two different kinds of funny, but they're saying like there's a whole bunch of posts and rumors going around from some credible type of source that they're gonna have Nicolas Cage play the Tiger King, in a mini series, yo. I want to see it. I want to see how he does this because Nicolas Cage is like the worst best actor there is. Like
Right.
he would make that shit funny as shit to watch and make it like cinematic and shit like that where we would really have fun with it. So
Nicolas Cage, man. Nicolas Cage was born to play that role. I mean, he doesn't look anything like the Tiger King. I mean, what's he doing? A movie or a TV show?
I think they're just doing like they're gonna do like a mini series type thing, maybe like 3 to 5 episodes, something around there.
Is it gonna be like a mockumentary of him being the
No,
Tiger King?
tell the story of what the information they got. I'm not sure whose side they're taking it from, or if they're taking it collectively and just making it themselves. But I think that that they're just gonna. I think it's just gonna be dope. He can pull it off. He can pull it off. He can make that shit funny and shit like that. So it was a lot. It was one of those things that was going down the timeline, and I seen it all weekend. And I first thought it was just them bullshitting around having fun, but it started to pick up some steam, and I was like, yeah, he can nail that out of the park. Because the thing about it was, even through all this, that's how it hit or miss of it. There is some good story points in that story that you could really like make
a movie
it
out of.
into yeah, you can make it be like, whoa, or you can make it be like, ha ha, ha, or you could be like, that dude's a weirdo, you know, or she's
That
crazy.
that is kind of crazy. Because that you're right. You could pick any. After watching the Tiger King show, you could
Hmm.
pick any one of those people and make a fucking biopic out of any one of those people in that movie, and it would be an interesting movie. Like any of the handlers, any of the people that work there, anyone. Like, and it's real life, and that's what I'm thinking to myself too. Is like Daniel Levin, the guy we had on the show, he said
Hmm.
some of the best stories are the people's lives that are right around us right now. And I think he's onto something. Some of the best stories that can be told are literally people in our backyards. Maybe not as luxurious and cool as Tiger King. Maybe not.
But
But there's people out there with interesting stories.
yeah, that's why I always talk to people. My kid's mom and a few of my girlfriends used to hate that because it would slow up what we're doing. If I come across somebody and I just get that feeling to be like, hey, what's up, buddy? And I get to talking to him for like 5 minutes. You know what I mean? While we're walking into Walmart. And she's like, come on. And I'm like, no, you got to go. I'll talk for a minute. And I get some kind of information out of it. So that is an absolutely true thing. Like, I think those, like, you have to, like, have conversations with people or you're going to be in your own head all day.
Yeah. Christina says, I looked it up, but basically they think that dogs can't, but don't entirely know, and there's little evidence that supports it. Although I read just the first few couple lines of a few top articles. Okay, so what's it?
That'll
No, that's a probably not on the whole dogs thing. Although I swear I posted something where they had a vaccine coronavirus for dogs. So I don't know. I mean,
Thanks, Christine. That's awesome that you did that. Um,
appreciate the
yes,
research. We like when people fact check. That's good. That's good. It keeps us straight. Then it makes us learn things.
yeah, and that's an argument because I absolutely know shit. I go and look for that stuff and I try to, half the time I can't even remember it. I have to refresh my memory to get it out there, to put it out there. So, and I think it's a big deal. We preach this a lot. You have to do some kind of research. Just don't spread it because your cousin posted it on the wall.
Right. Or you read the title of an article.
Yeah, or a title of an article, that clickbait shit. I hope they end that real quick. I hope they get over that once all this stuff's over and election's over. I hope they end the clickbait. Um, just
Clickgate. It's like clickbait.
yeah,
It's clickgate.
clickgate. That's the great name for it. We're making a movie. Clickgate.
Clickbait. Clickbait.
Clickgate.
All right. So here's a follow up. Remember we made an episode a
Mm-hmm.
long time ago about the shootings in Chicago, and you brought this up to me because apparently in Chicago they're still partying like it's 1999, and then still there and then the shootings have gone up and they're still up. So I kind of was looking to you to go ahead and give more information about that and talk about it.
Yeah, I looked at that for the last. I've been seeing that popping up for the last 2 weeks because in some place like a Chicago, into where the type of areas that I've seen and lived in my life is seen like in those areas, in the hood areas that people will understand it better for them to understand it in the hoods. Around certain times of the year, violence spikes up. It's usually around springtime when some type things people get out of back. They've been talking shit to each other on social need, but now they see each other and they turn to violence. But in Chicago, like you would think, like I looked at the numbers, there's still crime is pretty much the same as of Friday when I looked at everything.
Right.
Every It's pretty much the same. There's certain crimes that are up because they can break into places because people are off to other places, stuff like that, simpler crimes. But pretty much every crime across the board is a little lower, but not too much lower. But in Chicago, it's exactly the same. Like you would think that the coronavirus would curve that number of shootings and deaths, high numbers like that. And the party, like you would think that you wouldn't party, but they're throwing like 100 people.
Ragers.
Yeah, they're throwing 100 people parties inside a closed area. Nobody's really thinking like, hey man, if this corona shit's real, maybe we should chill out for a minute and then we might see something. So that kind of lets me understand that the structure in how I look at that is the leadership and the infrastructure on what's going on in Chicago is failing those kids. Kids make decisions, I get it, but they're being seen these decisions. It seems like they're not having any other options but you're a criminal. You're a criminal. When they see you and they catch you in a play, you're a criminal, and we're going to treat you like one. We're going to treat you like an adult. We're not going to treat you like a 15-year-old kid that just might be in a jam. Because we talked about that when we had that episode. I said, Chicago ain't like Altoona, bro. You can get off the porch and walk. But once you hop off the porch in Chicago, you better be hanging around some people or you're in for a bad time. So it's very interesting that the virus didn't curve none of that stuff to me.
Right.
Very.
This is where I'm coming from with it. I think that, and we talked about this on that episode. You know, I think it has a lot to do with, because we looked at statistics of the education system there, where they're failing in America there. Like, it's one of the worst in the world, not the world, but in America. Sorry. There's not just the crime rates, but so many different things. And me and you talked about it, like, and it's kind of like a cycle. It must be some kind of cycle where the people, I think the people in charge are ahead of them. The people at the official level, I think the people at the adult level, at that, are failing the younger generations coming up, because they're not educating, or they're setting a precedent and example that this is the norm and allowing it to happen. And me and you talked about what can people do. I mean, can they go in and start breaking down doors and do raids, SWAT raids, and like into the hood and take weapons and, you know, get people and like really like militarize the police in there? I mean, and how's that gonna go? Probably not very good. So you gotta think like, what? So what are you gonna do?
At what particular point do you say it? Because it's in a, like, what particular point do the people agree that Marshall? That's a great question. What particular point do the people agree, we the people, average citizens around the country, agree that it'd be a proper time, a collective agreement, a proper time to actually say martial law? And I think, in my mind, I said that then, that I don't want to see that happen, because it's going to be a crazy ending. But like, what point do you say that it's so? Because it's in there, it's in our laws, it's in our constitution. It should be something that should be, it's been inflicted during during when they were bombing churches in the 60s, black churches. They implicated martial law when they were implementing equal rights. They had to implement martial law down south, you know, in a couple areas to get the people in there to protect people. Now, so at what point do you think, like, to me, at looking at these numbers, Chicago, we should know around this time of the year we got to be out hot.
Right.
Watch.
Well, I mean, the last time we talked, it was summer. And summer and spring are the worst times, because it's like when the weather gets nice and it gets hot, it's like the tempers boil over and everybody's seeing each other and there's more movement, people are out and about doing things. And I think that might have something to do with it too, because Chicago's like, it gets really cold in Chicago during the winter. Like, you know, we in PA, we think winters are bad here, but Chicago's fucking worse. And Renee Gustafon said, because of the groups together, are their numbers of the virus high there? I don't know. I don't know what Chicago's infection statistics are. But regardless, you know, I think it's interesting that people are having these parties and having these but actually she makes a good point, because we were just saying about them having those parties of like a bunch of people up there in Chicago. Are their numbers high? Are they getting infections in Chicago? Okay, cool.
I didn't get to look at the numbers, because I think, like, you really need 2 week in a 2 week process, the way they're testing right now. You need a 2 week process, and the younger people they're not gonna show those symptoms, because there's gonna be no reason for them to get tested. What I would do as a government, as if they're saying it's up to the governor of that state, I would say, all right, well, this is how we're gonna use our testing. Well, if we catch you guys gathering at too much of people, everybody has to take a test.
Well, the state of Illinois itself, which if I'm not mistaken, Illinois, Chicago is in Cook County.
Yeah, Chicago's in Cook County. Yeah.
So they have 38,668 confirmed cases, and they have 1,673 deaths. That's in Cook County alone. And the state of Illinois
How's that?
itself has 58,000 and 5,559 deaths.
How's that compare to us? Is that like we're up there? We got a nice size, and we're not, in the top
Right. Well,
10.
let's just go look and see. Let's just look up Pennsylvania, just for grins, Pennsylvania, because I think our area where we're at is actually pretty damn good. Oh wow! In our state, we are confirmed as 48,000 cases, which is like 10,000 less, but we have almost just as many deaths
And
as
we're
Chicago, and we have less confirmed cases.
that's Pennsylvania.
Right,
Or,
right. But I'm looking at our county, so give me a second here.
yeah,
I think
county.
our county is like
Our
not.
county's pretty,
I guarantee you it's very low. Oh
because
man,
we're in
are
the
we even
state.
pulling? Are we even pulling up on here? I don't even see anything.
Yeah, that's how
Where's
low I think.
we're Blair? But they're not. They have nothing for Blair County. We
It's
have to
pretty
have
low. If
cases.
anybody in the chat knows what the Blair County numbers are, throw them up there. But that is the point right there. Is like per capita. I look at the per capita. How is it spreading per capita, and then what are the behaviors? That's what's the scientists and all the smart people of the world with their degrees on the wall trying to figure this out have to be looking at. What is the behaviors in this area? And that's a lot of information to
Wow,
get.
man, we are 25 cases, 0 deaths in this county.
Right.
25
Very low.
cases, 0 deaths. I mean, Blair County. I mean, we could have guessed that though. We could have guessed that. Blair County has like nobody here that has really died from the virus that I would have to think. I mean, we don't see a lot of cases, and me and you, I think me and you, when this virus first came, we said on this very show, not this very show, but like on past episode, that we didn't think the cases that we were gonna when the waves came for the coronavirus, we would be one of the last people to get it because of geographically where we are in Pennsylvania and where we are in relation to all the big cities. Because Philly's over here, way down here, and Pittsburgh's over here. It's not way down there; it's like 2 hours away. But for a virus to spread, it's a ways away. And then Chicago, New York, they're like here and they're here and they're here. And where we
Yeah, we're
are,
surrounded.
we're in
We're,
rural PA. The
yeah.
biggest city, because you gotta think about the biggest city in Blair County, I'm pretty sure is Altoona. And Altoona is literally surrounded by nothing but miles and miles of like highway and woodland and small towns.
Yeah.
There's just not gonna be a lot of people infected with the coronavirus here. Um,
Yeah, unless they believe on how it's carried. But I think a lot of people stepped away from that because you see a lot of or a lot of people coming from out of town in this area, which is Jersey and Philly. A lot of Jersey and Philly and Pittsburgh people are in this area. I think they might have and that's when I say about the responsible thing about saying, hey, I'm just not going to go there. I'm going to stay home. I'm going to do what they're saying to do. Let's just stay home for now.
And that slowed it down.
Just for now, and let's see what the numbers, what information we're getting out of this before we make any more decisions. So, and I think it's only a matter of time once they open back up that we're going to get flooded. I still think it's going to be, you know what I mean?
To
but
a
we're going to get
number, but we're going to get people infected.
Yeah, we're going to get flooded a little bit real quick. And we're just hoping that our governments have a plan in place now.
Yeah.
To just say
have my doubts, but a boy can dream. But to answer your question, Renee, yes, because the groups are of higher numbers there and more together, then yes, they are suffering from higher infections. That's a great question. Thanks for asking, Renee. So
top of that, yeah.
So Coach, I think it's time because we keep getting back to this virus. Can we walk away for a minute and let's talk about football? let's talk about football for a minute because
do it. I can't. I won't turn. I don't know what the fuck's happening. I'll turn down my girl saying, "Hey, we're about to have a great night, baby. Come." I'm gonna be like, "No, I gotta talk about football first."
right. Like, let me talk about football quick, and I'll get back to you because
Right.
This is a debate that we've seen in one of our podcast groups that we're in. They're talking about Cam Newton,
Mm-hmm.
and they're saying Cam Newton, why hasn't he been signed yet? Jameis Winston gets signed for $1 million, and then Andy Dalton gets signed for $7 million to the Cowboys, and then Dak doesn't get paid. And there's a lot of I don't know, just based on that information, I will let people make whatever decisions they would like to make with that. But I'm kind of curious because some people are saying that it's because of racist tendencies. They're saying it's because of Dak has proven himself, but that Jerry Jones and them just won't sign him. So I'm kind of curious now. What is your opinion on why Cam Newton has not found a home and why Dak has not gotten signed yet?
If for one thing though, just to troubleshoot that thing, I seen the Donovan McNabb thing. I commented on it, obvious, and I think I seen something that I didn't get to put in the comments at that time. I was moving around. Is that I think that Jameis Winston's contract is more than $1 million. He just didn't sign a contract for it. I think it's around two something. But in saying that, I think Jameis there's three different things going on here. Let's not pretend like this is not an old boys club. We'll knock this one out of the park, the racist issue. It is an old school old boys club where that it's been known, and it's been known for these owners for the years. They just don't like signing black quarterbacks. It's just that simple. The ones that you've seen sign them do it. I don't think that's the case with
This particular
Cam, Jameis, or any of them at this particular point. I don't see that as a case. There's situations. Jameis had to make a decision real quick. Like, what am I going to do? He was offered contracts to sit on the bench, and he picked one that he thought would work best for him. So he's going to take less money and be around a coach like Sean Payton and Drew Brees and learn like Teddy Bridgewater did, and then go back out.
Right. Hey,
you know
and don't knock it, because you gotta understand this. Jameis Winston, for when he was with the Bucks and he played the Saints, for some reason he had a tendency to light a fire under his own rear end. They lost a lot of games, but he had a lot of good games against the Saints too. And I think that was a respect thing from a coach in that division to say, I know Jameis Winston could be something. Let me bring him in. And also, Drew Brees is on the way out. So if Jameis is trained under him,
Teddy Bridgewater jumped off ship. So, and Tayson's not a starting quarterback. Tayson is who Tayson is. I think they bring up the discussion when they say they signed Tayson to his contract, and they kind of bring that racism thing up. That's not what that was about. Tayson been there all those years, and he busted his ass, and he earned that contract. It's not an over-exuberant contract. They're not trying to smack Jameis in the face. They're just giving dudes his prop for doing that. Right. I would never want to see that in the football field, that you didn't give this man his money because, you know what I mean, he worked his ass off, or you give him his starting, or give it whatever. So that's a whole different situation. That's can be canceled out like that. Cam, well, let's go with Dak first. First of all, Dak is asking to be the highest paid quarterback in the league, and he is not playing the highest quarterback in the league football. He's playing very good football, and they can turn that into something. I would just sign the contract that they offered him. I think he would have been like the fifth highest paid quarterback if he signed
and what's wrong with that? But no, he's like, I need to be the highest paid, and it's like, Dak, like, listen, man, you're not the best quarterback in the league. Like, I would have to be honest. Like, as a GM, and if you can't take that, well then, like, we can't agree on a number. You're gonna have to go. Because I agree with you. I said it earlier. Like the way that I look at the situation at the Cowboys. By Renee Gustafon says, I like your shirt. Raiders is my team, even though I don't know much about the sport. Raider Nation, baby. Raider Nation.
Hey, stop. The Raiders are trash. Tell them the Raiders are trash, Renee.
Nah, bro, that's it, bro. The Raiders are good. You're just mad. Right. Anyway, listen. So, you have Dak, who, So Jerry goes out and he gets CeeDee Lamb. They sign Amari. To me, and then Michael Gallup had a really good year. And to me, what this sounds like is like they're doing the Derek Carr thing, where he's like getting a bunch of weapons, and he's saying, "All right, Dak, I'm gonna get you a bunch of weapons. Get us to a championship. I want to see you worth that money.
Yes, I can see that, but they didn't. And I can't stand the Cowboys. I'm still a nation. We can't stand them dudes.
Them
And I
boys.
can't stand Jerry Jones. But in this particular point, what he was offering him was not a slap in the face. It
Yeah.
was what he deserved up until this point. What I would have did was, though, if I was Dak, I would have said, okay, let me maybe rearrange this a little bit and say I can make incentives to get to what I want. Let's put incentives into because a contract can say anything,
Right.
bro. Anything you want it to, as long as two parties agree on it and it's legal. But he could have said, all right, I'll sign that contract, but if I bust my ass and get this shit done, I want what I asked for.
Yep.
Put that in there.
But he
That's
wants the
fair.
guaranteed. He wants the
Yeah.
guaranteed, and he's just not getting it. And I think the reason why people took it as a slap in the face is because they signed Amari to a large deal. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think you have to sign Amari to a large contract, and they offered Dak a large contract too. Let's not get it twisted, like you said, and he just didn't want to take it. So to me, I think that's like maybe that's a slap in the face to your owners, to like the people who run the organization. Whenever you're like, no, I want to be number one, even though you're not the number one quarterback in the league. And this brings up the Andy Dalton thing now because we're in the Cowboys area, and why people were saying something like, well, why did Andy Dalton get paid $7 million, and then why did Jameis get paid like two, right? And that's because Andy Dalton's been around the block longer. He's got a better touchdown to interception ratio, and he's got playoff experience.
And he's not playing behind a quarterback that has a big contract. Drew Brees does. They have cap space to do that.
Right.
And it's not a big cap space move for the Cowboys to sign Dalton for his worth. And Dalton was offered more money. That was a surprising thing that he took that job. So there's something there. I think they kind of, with the incentives said, hey, man, you can make these incentives and you might end up on the field if Dak don't act right. Because we know how Jerry Jones is.
Right. He's got a contingency. But I think they built a roster because I've looked solely at the Cowboys offseason moves. They have built a roster that is going to say they're basically planning for a boomer bust year here. And they're saying even if Dak goes down, we're still going to be in this thing. Like that's what they're worried about.
We got a receiving core. Our offensive line is still top of the league.
Right.
We still got a top running back. All we need is somebody that's experienced to not blow it, and you can win chips like that. If you're a Raiders fan, you know that. Mm-hmm. You know that the history of winning chips is with the old school guys that, you know what I mean, know how to get shit done. They don't need to win the game on their back. They just need to do their job. So that could be a good thing. Now let's move on to Cam. The reason Cam ain't signed yet is totally different than both of them. He's saying, I'm not being a backup nowhere. I'm not signing for less than this. And pretty much if you don't want to do it, he's saying in how he's putting it out there, I can walk away from football. And that tells me he don't need money. He don't need that. He might have made smart decisions with his money.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And he doesn't. And I don't think he does. And this is a point that was brought up too because when we were talking about the people that said that these actions are racist. I mean, Cam Newton back during the Super Bowl MVP season, he got like $103 million contract, and at the time that made him, I believe, the third paid highest quarterback in the league. So I mean, like let's not sit here and get our P's and Q's twisted and act like something's happening when it isn't that way. Because I fully believe people get their due, but let's be real. Cam Newton, the past 3 years, has been a broken down machine. The guy has had shoulder problems, he's had leg problems, and last year, he got hurt and he was out the whole season pretty much, right? Am I wrong?
No, that's part of it. That's part of the game.
And he wants to be a starter, and I don't think there's any team in the league that's willing to take a chance on him to get paid starter money. I just don't think it's possible. If Cam wanted to play backup somewhere, if he was willing to play backup somewhere, I think someone would take him, but I don't think that's the case. And he's saying I don't need it.
He's saying that flat out. That's not what he's going to do. And the bottom line to that is I would never go in there if I was only getting paid 22, and I've been like that for the last couple years. I would have to go in there if I needed to play that sport or I wanted to play that sport and say, hey, listen, if you guys put me in that starting position, I'll take 19 million from the 22 that I was doing, and I'm far from the top of the league. We could be doing this all year. Show my worth, show that I'm healthy, get in there, you know what I mean, and do my thing because it's business. It's
Right.
business. Let's be 100%. We might not like the business. We can go to that part of it. It's the same thing about the ownership. Yes, let's cut the ownership out because we're not talking about that. Everybody keeps saying about it's all because of that particular point right there. And there are three different scenarios. They're totally three different scenarios, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of respect what Jameis did. I respect what he did.
Mm-hmm.
I respect what he did because he knew, like, I could get somewhere and be a backup and get this money, but I can go to this system where this guy right here might, I might get some playing time. He hurt his thumb last year. Teddy came in there. I get to be around a great football coach, great players.
Right.
I think I should do that.
Right. And hey, say Drew Brees goes down, you get a chance to shine on a great roster. A fantastic roster. I mean, because you got to think about it like this. Like, Jameis Winston left the team with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and is going to go to a team that has Michael Thomas. And so, you know what I mean? Like, to me, it's like he almost upgraded. He almost upgraded his wide receiver core.
They drafted another dude too that's in there that's going to make a huge difference. I forget his name.
Yeah, I can't remember his name either. But
I get excited about that stuff because to me, like, I mean, I know people they have their platforms and they have to throw stuff out there. But to me, I don't really think that's what Donovan was saying. He was not saying anything racial about that shit. To me, he might have been saying a piece of it. If it was brought up, he would have pretty much how the explanation that I have. Let's be real. It's still the old school club at the owner level. So they're thinking, some owners are thinking, I'm not going to point them out and pinpoint them.
Some owners have preferences to who they want to play on the team.
Yes. Quarterback position is one of those positions that it's been known in that old boys club that they don't want to hire. They don't want to pay black quarterbacks. They just don't think they're better than white quarterbacks. Yeah. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. But if you look around the league, that is changing. Since my team did it with the Rooney Rule from coaches to players. Mm-hmm. You got to give the best person the job. I've never been a person that looked at a person and seen him for anything else than, can you do this?
Yeah. Right, and again, me and you've gone through this, like, all the information that we just looked through to prove that this pretty much isn't that case. I mean, yeah, there's cases where it is, but I don't think that's the case here. I really don't. I think given the information we have, it can't be the case.
I don't think it's the case. I think Cam's probably going to sit out for a while like Bell did, but I think Cam's going to end up with a job because he's going to put himself in position, get himself healthier and stronger. And there's always a quarterback that goes down and you have no choice but to pick up that phone. And then he has that leverage. He has time to play that leverage, especially during this coronavirus. I wouldn't be quick to sign a contract to say I'm going to be somewhere during this shit.
Right.
If I had some money saved up and I was doing good, let me wait for a minute. Let me get a little healthier. Let me feel out the field. And I think because you can't pass on him. You have to pick up the phone. And he's not an Antonio Brown situation.
Right.
He's a little flamboyant and speaks some things on his mind, but that's him.
Yeah, that's just Cam Newton. Like, but he's not like, the difference is, like, Antonio Brown was, like, vindictive and a dick about it. Cam Newton's just being Cam Newton when he walks around wearing a fucking weird-ass hat and fucking feather suit and shit, like looking like Big Bird and shit.
You gotta wear that shit, Dev, when you get the perm.
Yes, I gotta wear that feather hat. Get the feather hat, bro. Get the fucking... Bro, I'm gonna get like a purple, like, you know what I should get? Bro, I should get like a Prince outfit. Like some fucking Prince would wear. You know what I'm fucking talking about? Like fucking like the puffy shirt with the fucking purple and shit.
The Ginger Prince.
The Ginger Prince. Right, but don't get purple. I had to get like a cinnamon color or some shit, like a cinnamon color shirt. That way I'm the Ginger Prince.
The purple in it though. No, you wouldn't have to. You could brand that.
You gotta brand it. The Ginger Prince. You gotta get red, And then I'll have to get like the cheesy like little like mustache, like leave a little bit there, for the ladies type deal.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and those are good points. So everybody out there that's on there, that's why I don't have conversations with a lot of sports people because they don't look at the facts. They work at their heart. And
Mm-hmm.
that's okay sometimes, but that can only be a percentage of it. You have to go down to the facts. Can't just say this and this and this and that. You have to really look at that shit. Look at the past, look at the current, and look where it's headed.
Right, and
And
the
say
and the money situation too. You gotta look at the money and the stats, and then you gotta look at that stuff
money
too.
and it's all of those are involved in those three phases that I said. You just have to look at those things and make a smart decision. But most people I see it on their pages didn't realize that Jameis got more money than he did, and they posted what McNabb said.
Yeah, right.
So you got to look at it like that. There's not a lot of fact checked in a lot of things. They're just going off of certain things just to get clicks and likes and all that bullshit.
Yeah, right on. All right, Coach. Well, you got anything else you want to chiggity chat about?
No, that's pretty much it. We hit our point, bro. I gotta say that we hit our stride. Like we hit our 8 o'clock point most of the time, unless we have somebody on and we want to give them a little bit of more time. But we hit dead on that shit. So good job. You're doing a good job. Everybody out there, man, keep doing what you're doing, man. This shit's gonna break and we're all gonna fucking make it, bro.
Yeah,
For
we're
real.
gonna party. Listen, Coach, I've been saying this. I've been going for runs recently in my neighborhood around here, man. And you know what
Okay.
I'm smelling everywhere I run?
Where?
Barbecue, grill.
Barbecue.
We
Cause you
need,
guys,
bro. We gotta get the fucking grill out. When's the
yeah,
cookout, man? That's cause like I've been smelling like chicken on the grill like I went for a run yesterday. I smelled chicken on the grill at like 4 different houses, and I about just like pulled up, went in their backyard, and was like, "Hey, man, can I get a cut? Like, can I get a slice of that? What is that? Can I have some?" Because then it was
right.
so good. So anyway, I don't know. When this all breaks and like we're not all terrified of getting space aids, we need to have a cookout, like a bridging the gap cookout.
We're gonna do it on the third floor. We always talk about this. I already got it in my head. I already know where we can get the starter fluid and the things in the closet at the catalyst space. We're gonna do it on the top level, invite everybody up there, get the okay from everybody, and say, let's cook some shit out. Play some
Yeah.
music and have some fun.
Right on. All right, guys, we're getting out of here. Again, I want to say a special thank you to everybody that popped in and chatted with us today. Shout out Renee, shout out Christina, shout out Desmond. I'm sorry we had a little technical hiccup at the beginning of this show. It is what it is. Things happen. Technology's wackadoodle. It wouldn't be this show, I think, if we didn't have a technical error at some point or another. So,
Right.
as always, stay beautiful, take care of yourselves. Me and Coach are out here. Have a good night, everybody. See you.